Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Vampyr. I'm your host, BringItDon, and while looking for a place to save yesterday, I stumbled across this area. Something down here worth grabbing. And these rats are worth eating.
This is despicable.
Come on, give me another rat.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Oh, you'll be alright, big guy.
I have this thirst for blood.
Alright, so what had actually happened... Well, there's a person to talk to in there. Also interesting. What happened is I came this way, looking for a safe house or something. I don't know. I found this door I can go in. So we're gonna go in here. It generates a whole nother cell, so let's go in and see what's in here. And then I'll go talk to that peddler, and then go and look for Nurse Crane. So, oh yeah, I was following that blood streak that was outside, and it led me here. Alright, looks like the blood leads upstairs. Well, let's loot down here first, and then we'll head upstairs. I found a fair amount of rings laying around. It'd be nice if they were valuable. So that leads back outside. And I can dodge. There will be combat here, as I can use my vampiric powers. I don't see anything here. Oh, it's a hideout. Okay, well, even better. Little work table. I might have the means to upgrade my weapon. Let's look into it. Nope, still need two. Does that have that in me? That's crazy. Burn through all this crap real quick. Ha! I could level up here. But again, I don't want to waste the night. I want to continue pushing forward, see how far I can make it with level 8. I'm not going to assume I can make it very far, but who knows? See, I thought I came up here. Oh, okay, yeah, this is the hideout that I was at previously. That was just another entrance. I'm sorry, friend.
This is despicable.
You're alright. You're alright, John.
I have
There
this
you go.
thirst
All nice and
for
topped off.
blood.
The whole reason I came over here is because I saw this body here. And then I was like, hey, what happened to him? And then I saw the blood, and I followed it inside that building. Pretty neat. Hello.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reid, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reid.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Well, I didn't put her off by my comment.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
Well, that makes sense. You seem
What do you
a bit
think of the
racist.
locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
It's just a recycled. Yeah, I don't see the reason to sell anything. Oh, I guess these. Yeah. Good reset value. Well, I have enough to buy that shotgun for Milton. Alright, so she has nothing else of note to talk about. There's that guy in one of these buildings up here. Oh, here's a couple of fellas.
Money. Come on, Barrett, you know the game. You pay for peace of mind. Can't you just look the other way this week, Joe? Come on, we can sort it out, right? It's not my call, Barrett.
This guy that's up there.
One way or another. Please, Joe. How long have we known each other?
Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reid, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about
Okay, this is
Okay.
the guy needs the arm surgery.
Come on in.
This is his son.
I'm Harry, by the way. Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
Alright, don't mind me. I'm just gonna ransack your house real quick, and then I'll be on my way. I should have listened to the other person's conversation, seen what that was all about. But alas, I did not.
It's locked, all right.
Of course it is. Hey, some shillings. Wait, maybe this isn't the guy, because his name was, so he had two sons, I thought, right? Professional vampire hunters. Actually hand out flyers. I'd think that it would be I guess if they were kind of patrolling the streets as like a militia, I guess they're not too concerned about secrecy. Alright, so this is not the guy at the hospital's son. This is the guy that's right outside the door's son. The one that's talking to that other guy.
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough, like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
I'm sure your father did his best when he found this house. Times are tough for everyone, young man.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. But I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
And you're a child.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reid. It's the living I'm afraid of.
That makes sense. They are a terrifying bunch.
Would it ease tensions with your father if he got an honest job? Because he tried, you know.
I can't say. I'd be glad if he dropped his thuggish activities, but I'm not sure it would be enough.
Why is that?
Sometimes I suspect it's me, Dr. Reid. Or it's this life. It's like I can't find my place.
Okay.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Thanks for all the free stuff.
Even my dreams are so...
That's Joe Peterson. That's the other guy he was talking to.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reid, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
And sometimes even more.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
Harry doesn't seem happy living in Whitechapel. Why did you make him come here?
I've always put my son's interests above everything else, whatever he may think. Our house is small but affordable. The walls are thin, but the door is solid.
You really love your son, don't you, Mr. Peterson?
He's my pride and joy. Even if he hates me for the choices I make and pushes me buttons more than he should.
Do you have any regrets?
Only one. Not to have my beloved wife by my side. She died when Harry was little. My sweet Jane. She gave the boy confidence.
Since the criminal nature of your job means you could be arrested, are you not afraid of what would happen to your boy if you were?
No one will ever take my son away from me. If that ever occurred, I'd hunt the bastard down and rip off his head with my bare hands.
Yeah, that's...
Why do you keep on working for the gang, Joe? You know it doesn't suit you.
It's true, I hate this job. And I know I made some bad choices, but I'm a wet boot boy now. And people won't forget it.
You could leave tomorrow. Start another life in another town.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. We are poor. My son's weak, and there's no way he'll endure another disappointment.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Oh, let's look at these signs first. Would you like to know more? Guard the freedom of us all. Join the Royal Fleet today. Alright, already seen that one before.
Welcome, sir.
Please, take a browse of my wares.
This
I'm
guy
Dr.
looks
Reid.
bonkers.
I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Oh, and I can trade with you. Alright.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
Okay.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
I thought I had a hint for this guy. Oh,
Right then. Show me what you have.
See what he's got. Tiny common handle part. I need 2 of these. That'd be 70 gold. I have enough to still maintain my 350 for the Milton's shotgun. So now I can upgrade my weapon. Oh no, I need the common handle part, didn't I? What did I buy? Tiny common handle part. Son of a gun. Well, I want to ask about Dorothy
Fancy
Crane as
buying
well.
something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you? Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane. So the bitch really is a nurse, then? I always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Yes, she's a nurse, and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Fascinating. Oh, Joe. Where'd he go? Joe?
Protect you, for there is no
Oh,
protection
boy.
against malevolence and trickery.
Well, I wonder what's back here. There's a whole bunch of them. Alright, well that was interesting. The area behind the church is infested. I do want to talk to the priest, though. Let's keep on tracking. This is a...
Desertion and
Who's this guy?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
Is it because you pursued the liberal arts?
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear Doctor.
Well, okay, he's got me there.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
You could try just rhyming more frequently.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Alright, so that's not the first time. Oh, I have no hint for this guy as well.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
Okay, well.
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the arid hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox, the stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
See, I have these hints to unlock, but it doesn't allow me to talk about them. See, I have to cure fatigue. I'm probably gonna do all this off camera. I still don't have a cure for headaches, though, or migraines. I have cures for everything else, though. So there's a guy there, and one of these is probably the priest. Oh, this guy over here. Editor refusal letter. Come on, open up. How do I get there? Huh. Okay, well, that's fair. I want to publish something that's gonna bring people down. But I have a hint for him now. That's why you always check all the trash cans.
Good evening, Mr. Nithercott.
And good evening to you too, my good sir. Can I be of any help?
You don't really make a living from your scribblings, do you, Richard?
No, sir, I don't. I work so hard. I put all my time, my energy, my devotion into the precise carving of words.
Still, you don't seem to suffer from poverty.
With thanks to my parents, actually. I'm afraid I would not be able to live on my own without their help.
You seem embarrassed.
Someday I hope to proudly offer my first publication to my parents. Until that day, I'll remain the failure of a son they have to support.
So I have another hint for him, but I don't...
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Or maybe it's just hints that are in the, in here. So if I find him here... Okay, so I have all 3 hints unlocked. If I can get more clues for him? I don't... Maybe I don't understand. So if I go this way... Alright, that's probably the flower shop girl. She's standing, yep, next to what appears to be a flower shop. Oh, free medical checkup in between the flowers. So she's probably working with Crane. So I wonder if this also has that. Come here. Yep. Come here, Camellia.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reid. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
She doesn't speak.
I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly.
I already know that she's mute, so this shouldn't be...
Tell me about Richard Nithercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Camellia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary.
She doesn't say this is... Okay.
A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it?
Okay, well that's fascinating.
Very well. Goodbye then.
She's healthy though. Alright, well, I'm gonna talk to the priest. So check up here. Probably nothing of note. Alright. Big old dead end. Let's turn around and talk to the priest. I'm sitting on a good chunk of XP right now. Alright, let's just see what's up here. Nothing. Not even a shortcut. Alright. A whole bunch of people here. Alright.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reid.
Dr. Reid, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
I served in France. Our top priority must be to put an end to this butchery. This war must stop now.
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untold war is going on, and it must be stopped.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
That science is unable to explain the facts doesn't mean there is no rational explanation.
I confess, I share your point of view, Doctor.
Okay. And no personal
Goodbye,
questions.
Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Pay me a bottle and I'll...
I will talk to her and then the priest. I want to find Joe again.
Hail, my lord. Would you like me to... Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reid.
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Okay.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed. Or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Sorry, 1 second. Alright.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I didn't see what hint unlocked. I'm assuming her.
I'm sure you could have found another job, perhaps less lucrative. Maybe you should try again.
And when exactly was the last time you looked for a job? Or worried about the rent, or what or when you were going to eat?
Alright, no more hints.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crane. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Alright, no more hints.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
Alright, the priest is up here. We'll talk to him. Oh, he disappeared. Oh, there he is. So once around for items.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reid, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
I'm a doctor, okay? Chill.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences. And most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
So this guy's a cuckoo.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I send him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Alright, so yeah, you're a kook. That's reassuring.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Okay.
I have had enough for tonight. Goodbye.
I have to feed on anybody. I'm feeding on you. Remember that. Alright, I want to use this guy's hint real quick, then we'll call it an episode.
You again? What do you want this time?
Your mom? No, but in all seriousness, I have a hint, didn't I? There we go.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Oh, okay. Another hint for that guy. Well, let's go talk to him real quick, because he's right there, and then we'll call it an episode.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you?
The old hobbit-looking thing.
Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I've known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
Without making excuses for him, it's safe to say that despair can poison even the sanest mind.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against a wet boot boy.
Alright, so they're pretty afraid of this silly-sounding gang.
What do you know of Harry Peterson? The boy seems so fragile. Not like his father at all.
Harry's a good boy, but he spends most of his time complaining. He's had it tough, all right, but he needs to grow a pair.
What troubles him exactly?
But despite being his father's son, almost everything, I think. He never wanted to come to Whitechapel in the first place. Hates this place more than most of us.
Okay.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Well, we're gonna call it here. I'm gonna go find a way to save, and see what we can do in the next episode. Thanks for watching, and I hope to catch y'all there.